Welcome to tonight's episode of Tabletop Terrain Talks, where we talk about tabletop gaming, terrain, and most of all, nerdiness in all of its nerd glory.
The gloriness that is the nerds.
The glory of the nerdhood. I am Haley Bell.
And I'm Weston Bell.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, and you're supposed to talk right now. And we are your hosts tonight for Tabletop Terrain Talks. We have a couple of different segments.
We're the hosts tonight, so someone else.
Okay, no, I know. I said that weird. We are always the hosts of Tabletop Terrain Talks, but sometimes we have guests. We just had our first guest on last week.
But we are always.
Here because we are consistent just for you guys.
Oh,
thank you so much for the follow, RX782. Sorry, it disappeared off my screen really fast.
Yeah, so it's RX782. That is what it is.
Oh, I'm really good at reading, you guys.
Following.
Thank you so much for the follow. We are so close to 200. And you guys, I'm going to just tell you. Our yearly goal for this year was to hit December 31st at 200 followers.
Yep.
And unless something really cataclysmic happens, I feel like we might actually get there. Like, how cool is that, right?
So I think we should push that we get it done way before then.
Way before then. Yee!
I like that idea.
I love that. RX said yee.
Yee.
So first off, I want to do a quick shout out to everyone that followed us while we were offline, because you guys rock and you're amazing. We have Archer Art Streams, Fires of Athelin. I have to think about that every time. XZombie _ Mitch, C4 Labs Inc., and you, our most recent follower, RX782. Thank you guys so much for following. It really does mean a lot to us that you care enough to follow when we go live and stuff. So if you want to make sure that you actually know when we go live, hit the notification bell so that you get the little thing on your phone that buzzes and says, hey, we're live.
I believe those are called notifications.
Shut up. Anyway, so Weston, take it away with our first announcement.
Okay, so this is a pretty big announcement. So if you have been a follower of the channel, you will know that as well as having Tabletop Terrain Talks, we also have a persistent campaign of Pathfinder 2nd Edition that has been running on Tuesday nights. We used to do it completely live, then life got crazy, and we went to a pre-recorded to try and get it a little bit earlier in the day. Well, we have heard you, and you don't get on until later anyway.
None of you get on until like 8:30, which was when we were streaming anyway.
So we've decided we are going to go back to doing it live. We have some things we want to do, some things we've done with other streams that we want to include for additional audience participation. And so we are going to be going back to live of our persistent campaign, but we are going to make a change. I start work at 5:30 a.m., so there's no way I'm doing that on a weeknight. So we are going to be changing our live stream of our persistent campaign, The Scions, to Friday nights.
We just committed ourselves to Friday nights. We never having another date on Friday nights for the rest of our lives.
Saturday nights is all you get, love. Sorry.
He's okay. I like Saturday nights.
So Friday nights, it'll be at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time now.
Standard time.
It
was daylight time before.
I can never keep it straight. Mountain Standard Time.
Mountain Standard Time.
Which will make it at 7:30 Pacific, but it will also make it at 10:30 Eastern. So our Eastern friends, so sorry if you don't like to stay up late.
However,
you can always watch the replays.
We are going to be doing a rerun on it on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Our time as well. So if you can't catch it live, you can watch it with other people on a rerun the next morning.
Yep.
So that'll be fun.
So come join us. Our campaign is getting spicy.
Hi, Andrew!
You know Andrew, I'm guessing?
Yes, I know Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. I don't know you, but hi.
We are friends on the Twitter.
Oh, on the Twitter. Twitter friends.
We are Twitter friends. Okay, so our other announcement. We have kind of hesitated. Well, not we. I have kind of hesitated about setting this up because I felt like I didn't really have anything to share. And like, I didn't want to just be like, hey, give me money. So
I have no problem with that, by the way. You can give bits and other things to the channel. I am okay with asking for money.
Weston's totally fine with asking for money. Give us bits, give us money. There you go. There's Weston's pitch. My pitch, however, we are setting up a Ko-fi. It is currently live, but it doesn't have, or a Ko-fi or coffee, whatever, however you say it. I call it a Ko-fi. I don't know how other people say it. Anyway, we set up a Ko-fi.
I don't know. I'm just gonna stare
like
straight at you.
Such a weird mood tonight. And I am a crafter. I work with wood, and I really enjoy it. And I kind of have taken a break because of all of the tabletop stuff. And I'm getting back into that. So for the holiday season, for a limited time, I am going to be selling we are going to be selling the D20 coasters that I have made that have previously only been available if you won them through the stream. They're 100% bamboo. They are beautiful. Look at Weston's camera and you will see,
See
that's
them.
really close. There you go. So these are the coasters, and they are 100% bamboo. The back is out of corkboard, and they are amazing and wonderful. Everyone that has had them and purchased them, or not purchased them, but won them in the past have given really great feedback. So those are going to be available for sale in our Ko-fi. And then the other item is something that I just started making because
I think these are cute.
So cute. They are magnets.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Come on, there we go. They are magnets. There's a D20, a nat 20, nat 1, and a cute little dragon. And they're being sold in sets of 3. So those will be available.
These really make me wish that I had a metal DM board. Because like those would be perfect.
That was like the first thing that when I posted that to some friends in some private Discords, that was like one of the first things that they said was like, these will be perfect for metal DM boards. Yeah. To put on. So they will be up tomorrow. I'm taking product photos. I've been taking product photos and kind of messing with them and trying to make them look gorgeous so that you guys can see the prettiness in all of its glory tomorrow on the Ko-fi or coffee.
C4 Lab
thank
Kick.
you.
No idea is that.
C4 Labs Inc.
There we go. Loves the magnets.
Thank you very much. I like them too. They're fun. So those will be available on our Ko-fi, which I will put our link down here so you can follow it if you want. There you go. Okay, so I think that's all that we had for our announcements. So let's go on to our TTRPG news.
Yes.
Maestro.
And here we go to TTRPG news. Took me a little longer to get the screen up than it generally does.
Hello. I'm Haley Bell, and this is TTRPG News, where we round up the biggest news stories from the previous week and give them to you here, live.
Yes.
You got the first one.
Do I? Okay, I remember. So one of the big things,
We are a well-oiled machine,
if
you
you
guys.
have been a fan, if you've been in the RPG space for a long time, you might remember a game called Hero Quest. Hero Quest has been around for a long time. It is a board game that is an RPG style. There's lots of different quests you can do with it. Well, they are revamping and re-releasing it. Mm-hmm. So the Kickstarter for the new
Souls has 2 copies, the OG and 2 expansions.
Oh.
Well, you will be happy about this then.
Yes, well, they are resurrecting it. They're getting it brand new changes, lots of stuff. It is hitting shelves this winter. It started as a Kickstarter back in 2020, so it's been going for a while.
So it started as a Kickstarter in 2020 with Hasbro, and they're finally like fulfilling on that Kickstarter. So they're releasing all of the pre-ordered things from 2020, and you can also pre-order the game now as well. So they finally got it in production.
So if it's coming this winter, great Christmas present. Again, people like Souls who have, I've got the original copies. Well, guess what? You can get the new, updated version.
Okay, next up on TTRPG News, who all remembers G4 TV? If you lived under a rock, you would not know who they are. But they just okay, that was a little rude of me.
Don't be
If
mean.
you don't know who G4 TV
well, they
is,
disappeared for a bit.
They did disappear for a little bit. It was a cozy rock. It's okay, Soul. Cozy rocks are good.
But was it a pet rock?
So was it a pet rock?
I like
to it?
Does anyone remember
or was
pet
it
rocks?
A lick rock? Was it Grog's Lick Rock? Okay, anyway, so G4 TV launched originally in 2004. That was a station that was done by NBC Universal and I think Columbia. And it was all based on gaming culture and gaming in general, and video games and all that kind of jazz. It ended up closing down in 2014 because it was purchased by, it was like acquired by a different company.
It's been shut down that long?
Since 2014. So it was purchased by a different company. They decided they didn't want to do it anymore.
My age just showed.
And then it is relaunching officially tomorrow. And the big news with all of this is that they are the very first cable network station that has ordered an actual play of D&D. This is huge.
Welcome to cable.
Seriously. And this is one of the things that has spurred our main event discussion this evening. But here's a little bit of detail about the game itself. It's called Invitation to Play. It's the first made-for-television series of a full D&D campaign. A few of the names that are joining are co-founder of Maker Studios, Kasim Gaharib.
We apologize profusely for
I'm really
the butchering
sorry.
of that name.
I practice these and everything. Gaharib. Rooster Teeth actress Raina Nova and League of Legends shoutcaster Indiana Black. And B. David Walters has been hooked for the DM.
What doesn't hook him?
Matt Mercer was not available.
Well, this is meant to be the main competitor with Critical
this
Role.
is going to be the main competitor for Critical Role.
This is cable money versus Amazon money.
Which some would say Amazon money is more.
Yep.
Amazon has more money than cable television. But anyway, I mean, it's owned by Comcast.
Is it?
So G4 TV is now owned by Comcast.
Okay, so yeah, you've got big money and big money.
Massive amounts of money on either side of this. But it's really cool. So it launches tomorrow. G4 TV launches tomorrow, November 16th. And this show specifically, Invitation to Party, is going to be released November 19th. So Friday. 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, figure out from there. And it's going to be on G4's Twitch and YouTube channels. So they are going to be streaming simultaneously on both, which is also something that has previously only been reserved for Critical Role. So it's very interesting. Anyway, Weston.
In our last piece of news, 2 other interesting and important Kickstarters. First off, if you have been in the TTRPG space, there's lots of board games for D&D, but not so much for a lot of the other ones. Well, Pathfinder from Paizo now is going to have a board game. So there will be a board game adventure published by Paizo in the Pathfinder 2nd edition for you to play. So if you are interested in getting, people like, oh, they might be interested, but I don't know if they're ready for an actual Pathfinder night.
Full on.
This is a great introduction into the system. Going to be a lot more, regimented like it is in a board game. But that is launched now. You can find it on Kickstarter. It's called Pathfinder Arena.
Yeah.
And the other Kickstarter, this one will be bigger for my indie TTRPGers. I want you to throw in the chat if anyone has played or heard of Morkborg. This is they say a pitch black apocalyptic fantasy RPG about lost souls and fools seeking redemption.
Of course you have souls.
Yes. Yes. Well, they are doing a new series called Cyborg. Cyborg is going to be in a post-apocalyptic but futuristic sci-fi setting with nanobots, more cyberpunk 2077, but by the exact same makers. So that has just gone live 2 days ago, I believe, on Kickstarter.
Just barely.
They already have a mass amount of support, but if you want to get in on that Kickstarter and be able to be one of the first people to get a copy of Cyborg, check them out on Kickstarter. It's SY_Borg.
Yes, it's very exciting. Okay, now for our do you have the sound?
Wait. It said Glass Cannon did a 3-shot recently of what?
They did?
A 3-shot of Morgborg?
Of Morgborg or Cyborg?
Or sorry, Cyborg? Secret
By the way,
Nerd
hi
Pod, please
Secret
let me
Nerd
know.
Pod, and hi Archer.
Make my life complete.
We love Glass Cannon, by the way.
But yeah, so these, I believe, and that is by Stockholm Cartel, which I love the name.
I know, and it's Kartell.
Yeah.
Like cartel. It's cute.
So they did Morkborg.
Morkborg.
I will have to go check that out because I've never heard of it before we did this. So I'm a newbie. I'm a baby in
they're
this.
the ones that do all of the weird indie.
They
games.
do, which we love.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, all that we have for the
TTRPG news.
segment.
But now we have. Do you have the sound cue?
I don't. I still have to make this the
Oh,
one.
sad. You guys, we have a really cool sound cue. Now we have the
Indie Roundup. Do do
Do do do do.
do do.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
listening to Dim Song.
So first up for tonight, you have seen him in the chat. You have seen him on TTRPG Twitter. His name is Soul. His handle is Souls Rolls, and he has a new GM. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. I'm gonna stop trying to do my own thing. Okay, Wayfarer Redemption is an indie GM-less solo sci-fi tragedy TTRPG that allows you to emulate movies like Sunshine, The Martian, Event Horizon, or even Red Dwarf. It's available on Ko-Fi and Itch tomorrow. And let me get that link.
Let's drop that link in the chat.
Is it? Oh, there it is, an S. Okay.
Bam.
So go over there, follow, and be ready to purchase this. We actually got an early copy. I don't think I ever told you
You
that.
didn't tell me this. I am angry
We
and
got an early
offended.
copy
You sleep on the
and-
couch tonight.
You guys, let's be honest. He's not capable of kicking me out of the couch. I'm taller than him.
I'm bigger.
We got an early copy, and I got to look through it and kind of see that. I mean, it is so much fun. You guys are gonna freaking love it. If you like to play solo games, and sometimes I like to because I like creativity and mind things, and if you're that type of individual, this will be a perfect thing for you. So go check him out over there. Next up, Oh, yes, and you can also use the coupon Party of 2 RPG for 20% off.
Don't
Thank you,
forget
Souls.
that.
Don't forget about that. Yeah, I forgot to add that in. Okay. Next up, Carrie Rowland. Carrie Rowland. He, incredible artist, has some wonderful Pathfinder 2nd Edition things that he is creating, and it is all available right now. But let me explain to you what it is, because I realized I said that without actually explaining what it is.
Yep.
He is creating 31 all new creature stat lines and creature blocks. Lore that's going to help fit into the game, spells, items, and PC options to reward your players with. This is a really big deal for those in the Pathfinder community because Pathfinder does not get as much attention and so does not get nearly as many things
Homebrew
made
stuff.
for them.
Yeah,
Homebrew
there's
stuff. So this is really cool. I got a chance to kind of look through all this stuff. It is incredible. The stats are wonderful. There's a lot of thought put into this. This wasn't just thrown together. So if you play Pathfinder or you're interested in playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, go check out this stuff and you can kind of get a taste for the things that are available. All right, next up, C4. Okay, I'm gonna do better and do the that first.
Do the that
first. Okay. So C4 is a manufacturer and an incredible producer of dice trays. Okay, you guys, I kind of fell in love with these to the point where I kind of wanted to just like pull out my credit card, and I didn't though because my husband would have been mad at me. But they currently have a dice tray that they are doing for Kickstarter. It's made in the USA. It's big. I think it's 11 inches across. It's a combination of maple, walnut, ebony, and Brazilian cherry woods with vegan leather. And it also has little dice holders on the side. So your dice can have a little seat and watch as its friends get rolled across the dice tray. That's what it made me think
It's
of.
now stadium seating in your
seating
dice
for your
tray.
But you can go check out their Kickstarter. It is incredible quality, you guys. It is so beautiful. If you're into dice trays, which like we are, I actually made our dice trays because we needed some, but I kind of would like, I had dice tray envy, I'll be honest. Anyway, but you can go check out them. They are gorgeous. There's 22 days left for the Kickstarter. Go over and support them because they're awesome. All right, next up, Fires of Athelin. So I'm just going to read this because I'm not going to go off script.
Don't go off script.
Fires of Athlon is in its own right a new D20 TTRPG that boosts a dynamic, authentic, classless, and level character development system. A gritty, authentic, fast-paced combat system that brings a new level of strategy and tactics to sword swinging in the D20 genre. Plus, a unique magic system that literally allows you to create magic at the tabletop from the depths of your imagination. This is the cool thing about this one.
Okay, talk to me. Tell me on it.
They are doing a 12-hour charity stream of this game on November 20th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern to in aid of.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how to say this. I think Su2C. SU2C. I don't know what it is. I'm really sorry. I forgot to look it up. Anyway, they're doing this really awesome thing, and the charity stream is like 12 hours, and it's like freaking incredible. They stream 3 days a week, and please go support them in their efforts.
I want to check this out.
I know, it's really, really cool. So let me put in. Oh, I forgot to do this one. There you go. So there is their Twitter or Twitch, their Twitch. So go over and check them out. Give them a follow. Next up, we have two more. We did an long indie roundup
this week.
Last week we didn't do any.
True.
So, second to last, but definitely not second to least, is the Mara comic. If any of you guys have been paying attention to TTRPG Self-Promo Saturday on Twitter, this comic book is incredible. They put out so much quality, beautiful illustrations for this thing, and it's like free, and you can go in and look at it. So it's the first comic created by Stuffed Rock Studio about a titular character named Mara. You can follow her adventures that takes her from a little fishing village to the far reaches of the world.
Bum, bum, bum.
Anyway, the illustrations are absolutely incredible. Go check them out. You can start at the very beginning of the comic book and just watch or read them all the way through on their website.
Ooh, that's fun.
Very cool. And then I think patrons get on their Patreon get the
additional
stuff
content and stuff
early. So yeah. Anyway. Okay, last but definitely not least.
You're excited about this one?
I am excited about this one. Is Archer. This amazing artist from within the TTRPG community, it like totally blows me away. They don't have as many followers as they definitely should. So please go and follow them on Twitter. They're currently opening, they have commissions open, but there is a wait list. So if you are interested in their artwork, please go over and get on their waitlist. They absolutely love to work with TTRPG books, designing races, creating items, working on characters. TTRPG is their thing, and they are super into being co-creative with other creators within the community. So go check them out. They have a Ko-fi and a Twitter, so go give them a follow. And that is it for today's TTRPG news.
Today's TTRPG news has been brought to you by us Googling things. All right, now before we get into the main event, we have our one last section, our terrain tips.
Yes.
Today's terrain tips are brought to you by by GameGearMaster.com and the Terraino modular system.
Yes.
Which is how I built our terrain that's right here. So let me switch over a cam. And let's take a look at a bit of terrain. So here we've got an inn that I built for, actually it's more of a bar, for our last combat in our persistent campaign. And
hold on. C4, do you see these? I created these.
Yes.
These are from the Dollar Tree. Yours are much better.
That's what you could build. It's okay. But the tip I want to give is something that came in real handy in our combat. A lot of times when you're building a bar or an inn, it is very easy to create just an open floor plan completely.
Yeah.
Problem with that is then combat doesn't get very interesting.
No, it's just move, hit, whack.
One thing that can make your combat a lot more interesting is arches creating pseudo rooms. So if you look right here, I've got an arch area open. You can't see it on the side, but there's actually open right there. And we have an opening right here. So technically it's all open. Like, don't have to deal with doors or anything like that. But in our combat, you all of a sudden felt like you could hide in there because it gave you a separate space that you felt was a different room, even though it's technically not.
I went over there and it like legitimately like was the worst decision like ever.
Close yourself into a bit of a corner.
Yeah.
But in adding arches into your terrain and into your rooms can definitely help break it up into separate spaces without actually having to worry about additional doors, additional, what's in this other room. It's all open, but it helps break it up, which is important in your combat. The other thing, if you look at my terrain here, this is a lesson I'm learning. You look at the tables, you look at the bottom. Brown, 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 brown.
Brown against brown.
You think, they're wooden tables. It's a wooden floor. They'd both be brown.
Well,
it
like
looks
that one
so
with
monochromatic.
The light on top of it, that doesn't even look
you
like
can't even
there's
tell.
A table there.
Yeah.
It legit doesn't look like there's a table there.
So the other tip I'm going to give is always make sure you paint your furniture a different color to make it pop.
Even if it's a different color brown.
Yeah. Like, I'm probably going to go back and do a tan on all these.
Yeah, we probably will.
But those are our tips for the night. One, arches make a great way to break up the space without actually having to deal with multiple rooms. Mm-hmm. And make sure you do your furniture and other things different colors to break it up and make everything pop. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this is brought to you by Terreno Modular System, and I'm going to go run that ad.
Okay. They're our sponsors. They're awesome. We love them very much. Maybe.
Have you ever wanted terrain at your table or for your online games but found it either too expensive to buy or too intimidating or time-consuming to make? Well, you're not alone. This is why thousands of gamers in over 30 countries have embraced the Terreno Modular Terrain System. All you'll need is a handful of techniques and tools to make Terreno pieces. And most of those terrain pieces are less than 10 cents a piece. What makes this all possible? The Terreno construction manuals at GameGearMaster.com. They're included tools and templates printable on any home, office, or retail store printer. They're clear, concise, written instructions, and the accompanying tutorial videos take out the guesswork and make building pieces as fast and easy as tracing, cutting, and gluing. Get started in seconds by downloading the Terreno construction manuals at GameGearMaster.com. Happy crafting.
So that's the Terreno Modular System. We love their stuff. Go check them out. You can actually use a promo code, Party of 2 RPG at KingGearMaster.com to get a discount on the manuals for the Terreno Modular System.
Yep, 10% off. It's pretty cool.
All right, main event time. Main event.
We're on to the main event.
So everyone who's here to debate in the chat, get your fingers ready. Get your angry opinions.
Get your angry. No angry opinions. Just passionate ones.
Okay.
Not angry.
So, Haley, you want to introduce our topic for the night?
Okay, so we are talking about tonight something that Weston and I have talked about quite a bit. And with the announcement of this new G4 TV actual play, there's been some concern within the community about, well, maybe not within the community, maybe it's just with me, but this idea that professional APs are destroying actual plays for like normal people.
How do you compete with Comcast and Amazon money?
Seriously, how do you? So what I kind of want to focus on is not Critical Role and not like Dimension 20 and not what like I want to focus on this idea that Hollywood has kind of realized that there's money in actual plays. There's money in tabletop role-playing games.
Well, and Critical Role is the one that showed them.
Yeah.
Like, We bought our tickets. We went to the movie theater. It was.
We spent $50 to go see them in the movie theater when we could have just very well sat at home and watched it.
Well, and where we're at here in Utah, they had it was at one location, but they had 5 full theater.
Full theaters that were completely sold out.
Yeah, completely.
In our location.
Like the workers there told me this is the busiest night they've ever seen, and Dune was being released, but everyone was going to Critical Role.
Going to Critical Role for that night. It was really crazy when we were there. Like there were so many people there, and like not as many cosplays as I thought I would see, but there were a couple.
A lot of t-shirts.
A lot of t-shirts, and a lot of pajamas. But it begs this question. Critical Role really did start as a small group of people playing a game.
Yeah.
If you watch those original episodes from way back in 2015.
I remember when I showed you that first episode. And
I legit was like, why is anybody watching this?
Well, and you'd been working in podcast production at the time. You did audio editing, stuff like that. So like everything bad with their audio for you was like fingernails on a chalkboard.
Yep. And that's why, a lot of pajamas. That's why I had such a hard time with our show, just as a side note, when our audio is bad because until recently, Weston wasn't doing the headphone thing, so we couldn't hear when things were going bad. It drives me crazy. So I apologize for our podcast a lot.
Yeah, probably too much.
Probably more than I should. But it really was just a group of friends playing a game that was their home game, and you can see
which was
the
originally
difference.
Pathfinder.
It was originally Pathfinder.
Just gotta give my plug to my Pathfinder.
Just in case you guys didn't know that, Critical Role was originally a Pathfinder thing. But you can see that when money started to really come into it, things really start to change for Critical Role.
Yeah.
Especially from Campaign 1 to Campaign 2, and now to Campaign
3.
It's an actual production studio. It's not like a table that they've put things together. It's not like what we're doing right here.
No.
Which it had started out with. Money came in and it really changed everything. The feel is different. If you guys agree, let me know. Am I completely alone here? But this is the thing that I'm concerned about, is that new viewers or people who are fans of actual plays in general are going to begin to expect that level
of production
on their actual plays. And so people who do not have that level of production are going to get pushed out.
Well, you think about, most actual plays out there are, there are a bunch of people generally on their webcams with a headset for a lot of them. And the audio, isn't the most amazing thing on the planet. The video and the lighting is definitely not stellar.
Not
And then when you put that against what G4 I'm sure will produce, what even before then D&D Beyond on their streams, definitely some really high quality production value put in there. The competition is going to get fierce.
It is. Well, and I think this is one thing that when I introduced the feel. Okay, hold on. Archers just said, honestly, the feel being more studio level pushed me away from Campaign 3. New characters are interesting, but the feel's definitely different.
It is.
I agree. It doesn't feel like what made people love Critical Role to begin with, which was, it was just a group of friends. You felt like you were sitting down with a group of friends to hang out, and now you feel like you're sitting down to watch a show.
Well, and even then, let's be honest with who they are. They are a group of professional voice actors who, a lot of people like to talk about Matt Mercer, but honestly, the players, they are amazing players and actors of their characters. Most people, even good role players, are going to have a hard time acting to the level that they are.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of great streams that, they can't do voices. They describe and they do things like that, but they're not going to be able to pull out, Matt Mercer's voice talent or even any of the other actors' voice talents. And, but I'm sure David B. Walters will have, that is one thing though. B. David Walters will have a different style. And so that's going to get another style out to the masses who generally are watching Critical Role. Because they're going to be the same market. It's going to be the same people, I imagine, watching both.
Yeah, but the thing that I worry about, and we're seeing this with actual plays that are happening in a lot of like the official capacities, like the official Paizo, when they wanted to do their Secrets of Magic, they didn't hire actual fans or players of the game. They hired actors.
It's the same group of people you're seeing in tons of different streams, tons of different actual plays in different systems. They're pulling the same people to do them. And it's like, wait. There's a whole community out there of YouTubers and Twitch players who I know this system really well and can make really interesting characters. And
but instead, you know, the more the money is coming in, and we're seeing this more and more when there are these networks that are being created of actual plays, that they're tapping the same people every single time. And sometimes they're fans of the gaming systems. They actually know the gaming systems really well. But then, like with this, the one that G4 is doing, I don't know if any of those people actually play TTRPGs. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat know those people. Like, cool. But that's what I mean is like they're introducing actors instead of introducing fans of the game that can play it really well.
Well, like a bit of a frustration. We got Darren.
Hi, Darren.
It's quite the fair comparison when comparing campaign 1, 2, and on to 3. In the middle of the transition, the group transitioned into a business which carries on an increased level of responsibility. It's true. I watched streams of high and low production value. In the end, the story reigns supreme.
It's true. It does. But my thought with that is that Critical Role's fame and success came because they were a group of friends playing a game in campaign 1. And then campaign 2 came out. It still had that same feel, higher production value, better cameras, better audio equipment and whatnot. But you're right, over that transition, they went from a group of friends to an actual business, and you can see that they're now putting on a massive production instead of just playing a game.
Pressure goes up. The pressure goes up. You have to be a lot more careful in what you do. Has any of Sam's, I mean, we've got 4 episodes in now. Has Sam been really crazy in any of his bits for the products, like for their sponsors? It's been toned back.
He has toned back
He's
a lot.
toned back
I
a
didn't
lot.
notice that.
Does anyone else notice that the intro song isn't there anymore?
I noticed that.
Critical.
Yeah,
I'm willing
that.
to bet that Amazon is using that in the animated and is not letting them use it in their show.
Yeah, probably.
I'm willing to bet it's like
become IP of Amazon because they use the tune
in the animated.
For the animated music.
I can
that's
pretty much guarantee
right.
that's. And this is the situation you get where the money gets involved
and
and control comes out of the hands of the creators a lot of times and out of the hands of the players.
Yeah. Oh, Marisha said they're still working on the new intro. Oh, okay. Good. But is it going to be the same music?
I'll be interested to see.
I'll be interested to see if it's going to be the same music too, because as soon as you ink deals with things like with companies like Amazon or Disney, which you know is going to happen, it will happen. They just signed off on, they gave their stamp of approval of the older Star Wars
TTRPG. Yep.
That was released in 2012, I believe. And
I believe
they're
so.
doing a full relaunch of it with Disney's stamp of approval. You know that if Disney sees Amazon and then Comcast have success with these shows, Disney's going to step in and use Disney money.
Well, and what happens when you've got a TTRPG in Star Wars universe and suddenly Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be an NPC played by Ewan McGregor?
Yeah.
In an episode, like suddenly
nobody else can compete, and this is the part that I feel like is really difficult as we are ranging into this place of, you know, actual plays and how they are starting to become more and more popular, and they have been popular. So much Steve Bloom.
Andrew, I don't get it. Sorry.
Andrew, I don't get it. I'm sorry.
You're gonna have to help us and explain.
But the more money that comes into it, the more that it takes the little independent creator and it pushes them to the side. Because first off, nobody's going to compete with Critical Role. It does not matter how much money they throw at the wall with any of these other actual plays that are going to come out. My opinion, hair flip. Haley's opinion. That's what I do when I say my opinion. Critical Role is so far ahead at this point. They are the juggernaut in this community. There's no way.
The only way I can see them competing, though, is in a slightly different market because they are cable. So you'll get people who maybe are watching, they have cable TV, they watch their stuff on there. They aren't necessarily going to Twitch to watch stuff. You could get those individuals possibly. And so they're, in a way, going for a slightly different viewership. They're going for the people who watch cable television, not the people who watch on Twitch and other streaming, things like that. What do we got here?
So Darren C., Amazon isn't executive decisions over the Critical Role game. Critical Role isn't owned by Amazon. However, as soon as they inked the deal with Amazon, they had to put out an IP and restrict with copyright against any artists or anyone selling anything with the official Critical Role logos, with their music, with their character likeness, with anything like that. So as much as they're in a partnership with Amazon, they no longer have full control of their product.
Yeah, having worked with companies and watched the way contracts work with companies will always grab as much control over anything as they can. They're control freaks. Most of the time, they're completely, legal departments especially, are control freaks.
Yeah, it's true. So yes, I think it's 8 of the original cast members and whatnot of Critical Role are executive producers on the game, on the show, on the animated series, and they're also listed as like executive producers on the Twitch show and whatnot. They've now gone into a partnership with Amazon that Amazon gets a say. They are going to have a say in everything that's created.
I can pretty much guarantee it.
It's not
because Amazon is Twitch too. Because that's the other thing is you got to remember is Amazon is Twitch. So they own Twitch. They own so that's where the mainstream is for their show. Then they also have the TV show, the animated one, also done by Amazon. There is a relationship there, and there's going to be give and there's going to be take. The Critical Role got the right to be able to do it live on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And that was
the first Twitch partner that was ever given that right, I guess.
So that means, so there's always a give and take.
Yeah.
The main thing I see here is it's just like any other market. You look at, I think a great example is the .com era. You go back to when internet first started, .com era, everyone's buying up domain names. You can go start a business and throw up your website and start making money, and everyone's looking at different sites. And then eventually the number of sites that could get traffic began to decrease. And then you had the build-in of of Google becoming the main engine and Google ads, and you have to bid for your ads and depending on your keywords. And suddenly the smaller and smaller of a site you were, the harder and harder to get your name out there.
Yeah, because you can't, as a small creator, you can't put $250,000 into advertising, which is what some of these larger streams are going to be able to do.
Oh yeah.
And have full crews and stuff like that. So that's what I mean more than anything is like, how do you get found? How does our stream get found? It's through me working bloody effing hard on Twitch and on Twitter and on YouTube, trying to get eyeballs on our show. If I had a crew of 5 people to do all of our social media marketing and do our YouTubes and do all of our cuts and all of that jazz, you can hells be sure that we would be way farther along than we are right now. But we're a 2-person show.
And everyone has a limited amount of time. And actual plays are long.
They are.
They are generally long. They're 3+ hours. That's a lot. That's a big time commitment.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to acknowledge your comment, Andrew, that Steve Bloom provided the extra voices for Star Wars Rebels, doing the voices of the Stormtroopers. He's also Spike on Cowboy Bebop,
which I'm rewatching right now.
Or Ammon or Amon? Amon on Legend of Korra.
Yes.
I never finished Legend of Korra.
No, you didn't. You should watch it. I think you'll enjoy it because
so much.
Korra's a little older than Aang, and so there's a little bit more But
There's
then again,
a lot of angstiness.
there is
That
quite a
was
bit
the
of
thing that was
angstiness,
kind
that's
of
true.
bugging me with the show.
there's definitely angstiness in there versus Aang was just, hi, I'm fun. It's kind of like fresh cut grass.
Oh my god.
Aang was kind of like fresh cut grass.
So cute. But so that's what you were saying. Sorry, I had interrupted you about the limited amount of time that you have.
Yeah, you have a limited amount of time to watch. And so you're going to pick, okay, where do you divvy your time is going to become a bigger and bigger question. Now, one thing I don't know, and this is a question I have no clue. Critical Role takes up a huge amount of listenership with they have 111,000 subscribers on Twitch.
And they have almost 1 million followers on Twitch.
Okay. So the question is, did they take up 1 million, followers that were already in this space? Or did they get half of that from people who didn't watch actual plays? Because that's the other question you have to ask yourself is, are they taking from the space that exists, or are they simply grabbing people who hadn't before been interested in watching?
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that they're taking people who have no interest in watching any other actual play, honestly, and somehow they've got them hooked on Critical Role, but those people are probably not going to watch a different actual play.
But that also means that the market for actual plays for the rest of the people didn't actually shrink.
No, that's true.
But
Critical Role inflated the idea of how many people are actually going to
they
watch
did.
them.
And that is definitely one thing that we've seen is now there's, okay, what does it mean to have a successful actual play stream in the TTRPG space?
Yeah, because it's like you can have 1,000 followers on Twitch and only have like 25 to 40 viewers live.
Actual live viewers.
And that's like really good in comparison. So we have to kind of, I think, recalibrate the idea of what is an actual play, like what is really successful for an actual play. Like for us, like our original goals for our stream was like hitting affiliate. Like that was so exciting. It was like, that was the day that happened. It was like, oh my gosh, like the heavens opened and it was really exciting. But we now have a very different idea after being in the industry now for 6 months.
A little bit more than that.
We've only been in for 6. We've only been doing.
I think we're at 8.
No, May, June, 6 months.
6 months. Okay.
6 months. So we've been doing this for 6 months. That, our idea of what's actually successful is changed drastically. Which is kind of like, I think everybody goes into their actual play feeling like we're going to be the next Critical Role and we're going to be all over the place and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, Critical Role was a lightning in a bottle. Like that's never going to happen again.
Well, it might, but like it'll be definitely rare. So I'm just going to call you RX to simplify my world. Irks. He says, I will say watching one actual play removes time to watch another actual play, especially given the average time session. So it is a limited pool. Not everyone can share. There is a maximum amount of streams that the market can sustain.
Yeah. And I think that that's going to become more and more apparent as more money is dropped into this space, that there is a limited number of viewers of shows that people are going to watch.
Yep.
So you're going to have to choose. It's going to become your team Critical Role or your team Invitation to Play or your team whatever.
Which is the true of any market. I mean, that is true of any, what we're seeing right now, TTRPG space with actual plays is a very open market.
Yeah.
Like you can get in. Barriers to entry though aren't that low. Like you think about the equipment we've had to get.
We had to purchase a lot of really.
Now, granted, you're more particular on your sound than many.
I am very anal retentive about my sound. It's true. Andrew says, secondarily is Arcadum, and then the boom for Yapter when that fiasco happened. For those of you who don't know the drama, Arcadum had a bunch of the person who was the GM for that channel was accused of a lot of things that were proven to be very true by a lot of women that he worked with, and that channel was destroyed very quickly, like in 24 hours.
Oh, that channel.
Yeah,
we were just getting into the space when all that happened.
Yeah. So, and they were like always, there were always a couple of thousand viewers on his channel and all that stuff. And then, you know, that audience had to go somewhere. But it's the thing that I really worry about is that as money comes in, just, you're not going to be able to compete with the quality. Like our webcams, and I don't have any problem saying this, but our webcams were like
$45,
$50, which for us was a lot of money.
Yeah.
To spend. And
we're like budgeting over a couple of months.
We
can we get one more piece of equipment?
High def webcams, and we bought nicer microphones, and like
the mixers.
The mixer was our biggest purchase, and like we have a line in. We had to learn how to do a ton of stuff. So the barrier of entry to actually stream, if you're wanting to put together really good quality content, is difficult.
Yeah,
it's higher than most people think. A lot of people feel like, well, just you know, like turn on your webcam on your computer and go, and you can totally do that.
Well, then you're forgetting a bunch of costs though. If you want your D&D Beyond with all your books, to be able to use the D&D Beyond plugins, and you got your Roll20 or your Foundry subscriptions that you want to have there, the price begins to balloon. What audience can also
That is very true. Not all those viewers were reabsorbed into other streams. No, you are totally right, Rex. It can. Well, somebody commented on my Twitter today about how there are starting to be more articles written and more people talking about being like the shine and the excitement of Critical Role is kind of starting to wane.
Is it?
Within the viewership. And I thought that was interesting because when last Thursday when we were watching, we figured out between the 100,000 that we're watching on Twitch and then there was like 40,000 on YouTube. So there was 140,000 viewers.
I would give it. I'll be interested to see though when we're 10, 15 episodes in, because
or 30 or
or 100 and something. Because definitely in campaign 2, it decreased quite a bit in the middle.
People stopped watching about halfway through. Like had significantly less people watching.
And that's where I would say one of the big things is, as a community, it is important that we support one another. That you're a huge Critical Role fan. I'm a Critical Role fan.
I'm such a critter.
You're a bigger critter than I am.
I am a critter to the level of I am building a cosplay for Fern.
Yes.
Because I'm 6 feet tall, so
it'll be a great one.
It's gonna be great.
But the question is, okay, let's say that Critical Role starts to wane. What other stream are you gonna go watch? Because there are other streams out there that are great, but once you have your first experience, and I'm sure this is the case also. I mean, we've only been playing for a short period of time, but I imagine when you've played with one DM or GM for a long time, and then you go to a different one, like it changes a lot in the way the games run, and that can be very disillusioning. I think people just got weird about money when Twitch leaks occurred. Yeah, people got weird about that.
They got to begin to see how much money CR was making. Like, we want them to be successful, but, like, people also felt like they shouldn't be making money either. It's funny because Weston and I sat down once and figured out, like, about how much money they were probably making off of subscriptions when we first started our Twitch channel. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so let's say like they have like 10% of their followers are actual subscribers, and then they're getting this.
I did the statistics, yeah.
Like Weston did the statistics, and we figured out about how much money they were making, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. That's freaking awesome. They work so freaking hard.
Yeah, I don't begrudge them the money
I don't
they
begrudge
make it all.
But there was a really large group of critters within the community that were really shocked at the amount of money that they were making.
Well, it's hard. We have an interesting, due to a lot of issues in the world, in the economy, there's definitely issues with people have with those who make money.
Yeah. So I completely agree with you, Darren.
I personally don't have any issue with the fact they're making that much money if they're getting that many viewers.
No.
My concern more is you things do change when all of a sudden you keep having to outdo.
Yeah.
It's that thing. You keep having to outdo the previous one.
And one up everything.
And then suddenly, oh, I'm sorry. Star Wars reference. The Death Star is not big enough. It needs to be a planet. Not a moon size, a planet sized one.
We are not doing that. You guys, it was so bad.
Yeah, we're going to do almost the exact same storyline, but we're just going to make it bigger. We got to Michael Bay everything. And so all of a sudden, that's what
That's become an adjective. You're gonna go Michael Bay it. That's hilarious.
they're like, okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing too, Rex, that people didn't look at all is they just saw they made $9 million over 3 years. I'm like, yeah, but they have overhead that they probably overhead in California, in Bakersfield, or not Bakersfield. Where are they at? They're in.
No, they're
starts with B. Is it?
I'm not sure.
It's right next to Studio City.
If you're in the chat and have any clue, I'm from Southern California and I'm not sure what she's talking about.
I don't see a set change for future campaigns given the links measure.
No, they will not. No, I don't think they'll change that. But again, the stories,
they might change the scripts behind them.
They might change little things like that. But that's the thing is, there becomes, especially with money. I've seen it again and again with companies where it's like, okay, we made this, that's great. We gotta go higher. And so, as they are more of a company, there's going to be push to, okay, well, we need the next level. There needs to be the next level. They have a CEO. Do you know what a CEO does? A CEO makes business connections and gets investors. Yep. Investors want return on investment. Therefore, they want increasing profit margins every single quarter. And when that happens, you lose it. You start again, Michael Baying it. Okay, how can we blow it up bigger?
One step higher. How do we make it a little bit bigger? And it puts a lot of stress and pressure on
creators.
On the creators. And it's like Matt, he doesn't create in a vacuum. Like there's a group of writers that he works with that he bounces ideas off of, and they kind of figure out what direction should we go forward. Like you can't create. Like Matt can't create this entire campaign in a little box with a pencil and a paper and say, leave me alone. Like
he used to be able to. Now he can't.
Used to be able to, but I mean it's a different world now.
Well, but then you also got the charities.
That
they've got
the
there's the merch. Like it costs money.
Us just discussing Critical Role.
No, we're talking about business. Like what we're talking about is streaming business.
Yeah.
And all of that I see could also be the same case for C4. I could see it being the case for G4. Thank you. Any other huge stream that comes out in the near future.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be backed when you are backed by big money. There are big demands put on you.
There are.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that was really good. We should clip that. What time is it? Okay, we're an hour in.
Yep. And so it will be. That's the thing that I think will be more interesting is eventually. This is what happens in most time in markets. You have this explosion that happens. Mm-hmm. You have people that begin to go up high and sky's the limit. And then one of two things that happens. Either A, they capture the market and they can hold it. Mm-hmm. And then it stays there. That's what happened with Amazon in the online sales. eBay's still there, but heck, everyone talks about Amazon. That's what happens with movies.
I forget that eBay exists.
Yeah. There are 3 production companies now that control everything, with almost Disney controlling 50% of it and the other 2 fighting over the last quarters. Mm-hmm. And they've held that market. The other thing that happens is they blow up, and then when they can't keep going up, it starts to crash, especially in something that's like the arts, mm-hmm. which D&D and running games is art. This is performance
mm-hmm.
art. Yeah. And so it's kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, that was a sad.
Great, awesome. We've got to do the next level. Okay, we need more of it. Wait. No, I think Jack Sparrow's kind of starting to live out the character's life. Nope, we got to go for another one.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
The fans stopped asking for another one of these movies 2 movies ago. Could we please stop? Like that kind of a thing.
And that is what I see will happen. And then the question will be, will it then implode? Will the market then for actual plays implode and it'll almost go back to pre-Critical Role
where it's just the little baby actual plays.
And it'll only be those who actually play D&D that will be watching. Or someone else will come, they'll grab it with even more, Amazon themselves will be like, okay, we're going to...
a different vision, a different way of doing it. There's a group online called Corridor Crew who actually, they're visual effects artists, and they're in Hollywood, and what they did is they're all D&D fans. They all play, and they took, like, our terrain here, they took their terrain that was all Dwarven Forge, 3D modeled the entire thing, and then videoed themselves and put them in that 3D world.
Yeah.
So you have a group who is doing something very innovative, very different, and it's really cool. And the only problem is, I feel like their story is really boring. I love Corridor Crew. Like, they're awesome. They're so much fun to watch. But their story.
You are a big RPer, though. You are a big role player.
No, and
you like social encounters.
Yeah, they're major combat.
And they're dungeon crawlers.
Yeah, they are.
So there are two different types of games there.
The bubble burst or the landscape changes.
Yes, Rex, you're completely right, and it does well. And I'm a believer in capitalism, but I believe in pure, which means there's lots of small companies.
Not this monopoly capitalism.
When you get landscape changing, generally what happens is big money manages to grab everything. And so then, like, what could happen? Networks.
Oh, yeah. We'd have
TTRPG networks. And so then you've got...
Munchkins rise up.
Yes.
Yes. We will take down the big corporations.
Well, or again, like you have, we're going to, like Geek and Sundry kind of started the network. And they had a nice
network. That's why Critical Role had the platform that they had to start with. There were actual plays before.
Yeah.
Critical Role came along, and
Geek and Sundry and like Will Wheaton kind of were like the tabletop.
Felicia Day.
Yeah.
They created what is now been blossomed in, like, they created the platform, and then Critical Role took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
And like there is a whole thing with Geek and Sundry. If you guys ever want to,
it's sad.
To talk about that, we can have a tabletop night where we talk about that. That, like, the rise and fall of Geek and Sundry is very sad.
It's very sad. Someone needs to make a documentary about that.
They should, because it's really fascinating what happened.
And Critical Role wouldn't exist without Geek and Sundry.
Geek and Sundry and Felicia Day. They wouldn't. So.
But that's the things that's the other thing I could see is I could see networks of actual plays, like, G4's got like their 4 ones, Amazon's got their 4, Disney's got their couple, and then, look, everyone watches those, and that's where the crowding out can happen. So one of the two things will happen. I personally hope it's an implosion. I hope that when Critical Role kind of starts to reach its end of its peak, which it will happen.
I mean, Travis is, how old is Travis now?
I don't know, but their kid's gonna get older.
Because Travis and Laura have a little boy, and like life, like things are gonna shift. What I predict happening with Critical Role is they're going to use a full campaign to introduce new people, and then they are going to start streaming other things other than Critical Role, and they're going to create a Geek and Sundry type network.
I think that would be wise.
I predict that's what's going to happen.
But again, then you're going to get the same situation to where you have the superstars, and then it becomes like Hollywood, where in Hollywood you've got these actors that get used in everything. But there's 50 billion other amazing actors out there who aren't going to get anything because...
Well, there already are casting calls for actual plays.
Yeah.
Like that, I see it all the time on Twitter and in like professional setting type things of like they're actually holding auditions for actual plays. And like it's already happening. So, and that's what I mean. It's like the organic, and maybe I'm just a baby in the fact that I want it to stay... this really beautiful by fans for fans kind of thing, and that's just you aren't
the only one. I know there's a lot of people who are concerned about that, especially like,
well, it's like they keep using the same DMs over and over and over again on all of these charities and these huge streams. You mean
B.
David Walters and Satine Phoenix and Matt Mercer and Brennan Callahan. Is that his last name, Callahan?
I don't know.
I think so. Anyway.
Always be a market for large and small streams. People, game systems, and length of streams will always play a factor. They will.
That is very true.
Well, and I'm interested, like, we're new in the TTRPG space.
Yeah.
We've played D&D. We've played Pathfinder.
Second edition.
Second edition. We played first edition because I started
Mulligan. That's what it is. It's not Callahan. It's Mulligan. Thank you.
But there are so many different systems out there, and it blows my freaking mind.
We didn't realize how big the TTRPG world was.
Like, and it really does make me question. I'm like, okay, well, what's the market share of each of these? Because I know D&D pretty much takes like 95% of it. Paizo takes 5%. Call of Cthulhu takes a nice amount. I know Call of Cthulhu is especially very big in Japan and China, from what I understand. But it's like, I see all this creation and all these cool systems. I'm like, I don't have time to try them all.
No, I know. And that's why it's like a meme online about how like you actually don't play any of them. You just collect all of the core rule books and stuff. Like you collect all the books and that's it. Like you don't have time to play them all.
White Wolf with World of Darkness? Never even heard of this.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
White Wolf. That makes us think of Witcher.
I know.
Which the Witcher game is a fun, interesting system that I want to play.
I know. We had something planned for it with the conjunction with the release of the TV show with Netflix, but that ended
Which we did forget to one announcement we did forget is this week is the last stream of our Wheel of Time.
The finale of Wheel of Time. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we're in a Wheel of Time stream. It's an actual play with Plain Nerd allies. D&D 5th edition in the world of Wheel of Time. It's called The Rise of the Black Aja. And this is going to be our climatic finish. I'm pretty sure we're all going to die. Is going to be the most glorious TPK to ever happen.
The most glorious. Most glorious.
Yes. So you will need to come check that out.
Yeah. So it's difficult. Like Vampire the Masquerade is a big one. I know I've really wanted to play Vampire the Masquerade, but we've just never. Like we started with Pathfinder. It's like I know we've got like decades ahead of us in the gaming world system, whatever.
But I want to try them all right now.
I do it all right now. Rex says there's definitely a demand for less complex rules systems for lower barrier to entry. Yes, and I've seen that a lot with like with Lexi's release of the Caltrop system. If you follow online, that one it's like a D4 set framework, and then you can flesh out the game yourself. But it's very, very simple. It's very, very easy.
I was hearing today about a couple of systems where the DM can literally go the whole campaign without rolling once.
What?
It's everything about its opposing rolls. So it's always they roll to be missed. They roll to dodge. I think you'd love a system like that never made you roll and do any math.
I don't have a problem with math. I just am not very good at it. I'd also say that your stream is atypical for 2 people for a varied interest system, PF2 and alternating storylines. Yeah, we're different. We are very different, and we know that. Like that is one thing that we've actually really enjoyed in our experience so far is the intimacy that comes with a 2-player game.
Which I want to throw out the idea of so I GM a lot of our stuff. I want to know what people would think of this. My thought for our next campaign is to actually have it be a married group of adventurers.
Yeah.
So like the idea is you start off, you are married, you're a retired adventurers who've been called back into help with an issue. We'll be married with kids. And the idea is to kind of lean into the fact that we are married, and like situations are different when you're married. And I kind of want to lean into that in a persistent campaign a little bit. So let me know in the comments if you think that would be interesting. To not only, it's not only, hey, we got to go kill the monster, but we got to kill the monster before our babysitter leaves.
Yeah. It's.
And if.
I think that would be fun.
If I like, wait, go try and seduce. We'll try and seduce them and get them to give us the answers. Wait, what? I haven't seduced anyone in a decade.
What?
Like, last person I seduced was you.
And like, seducing you equals tapping you on the chest and saying, let's go have sex. Like, that's not... Not that that's personal experience or anything like that. Out of the 2 of us, Wes
personal
is
life
way more romantic than I am.
But that's the thing, is like, I've been very interested in doing that and diving into that, because most streams and most campaigns are always 4 adventurers who just met.
Yeah, well, and that kind of goes back to this idea with the actual plays, and like with big money coming in, there's going to be a formula. There's 100% going to be a formula, and you know that things have to be written and scripted out because they're looking for viewers. They're not going to do full episodes that are just shopping episodes, because those are boring and people don't watch shopping episodes unless for some reason you really like watching shopping episodes.
Come on, unless it's Gilmore or that guy who sold the black powder.
Okay, yes, Victor was amazing.
What? You want a hogshead?
But you know what I mean? So it's like it's gonna go from being just an organically built, beautiful story to like there has to be a hook and there has to be a climax of every episode and there has to be some type of like conflict. Like it's not gonna be organically built storylines anymore, and then that's gonna become the norm. So then when people who are exploring other actual plays are gonna come in and look at it, maybe I'm just whining. I feel like I'm just whining, but other people are going to come in and see a normal actual play, like a real actual play, and they're going to be like, this is boring.
Well, but even the way you and I play isn't normal. You RP like crazy.
I do RP like
Most people are like, okay, let's get going. Let's get into the dungeon. I want a skill challenge and I want to cut something's head off.
And I'm sitting here asking questions about the meaning of life and crap.
Exactly. So
Rex did say there are also GM-less and solo RPGs that haven't been fully explored on streams. That's very true.
It is very true.
And there are some really, like Souls is an example that is being released tomorrow. It's a solo RP, like it's or RPG, and there are multiple people out there that are writing these one-page solo type games where you can sit down and have this immersive, beautiful experience, and it's just you. And I think that's really exciting. I think that's something different that we can begin to explore on actual plays. But just like with music, you're going to have the mainstream music that gets all the attention, and then you're going to have the artsy stuff that may be beautiful, but is just not going to get the attention.
It won't, but it still exists, and people can still make some
Power
money.
Rangers! I love it. I'm so excited about Power Rangers. Okay, sorry.
No,
so when Hyper Rabbit Go did Power Rangers Hyperforce, it was canon Power Rangers just before Saban sold to Hasbro. Oh. Yes, probably. Yes. I do want random quests that are entertaining even without a through line plot. It would lower the need to keep up. Do you mean like episodic?
I've thought about it. It'd be interesting if you did one to where everything was kind of episodic, like a TV show.
Well, we're actually kind of doing that with Midlife Dices. If any of you guys know who Joel is, we're doing a Hercules one that's like that. It's episodic.
You are. I'm not in that one.
I am. Sorry, not you. Yeah, so we're doing one that's kind of episodic, and there's going to be 4 episodes, and they're all based on a 5-minute show from the 60s. And it's going to be super fun. I get to play like this ditzy girl who is finding out she has strength and power. It's kind of cool. Weston forever excluded. Not always. He's in the Wheel of Time.
I am. Now, someone's got to take care of the children.
That's true.
While Haley's on all of her streams, someone's upstairs with the screaming children.
Not always screaming. Just some of the time.
No, they're screaming. It's just whether it's happy or sad.
It's either happy screaming or sad screaming, because that's like our children only have 2 freaking modes. It's fantastic. No, I think that is an interesting idea, though, of doing a through line, because or of not having a through line, because we're actually in production right now. We're working on one-shots that can be played with 2 people that don't have a through line, that are like monthly, so you can have a one-shot that you sit down and play with your spouse or your partner or best friend or whatever, with the option to have a through line played in the background.
Yeah.
There's a story going on in each of the one-shots throughout the year that you can then play as a final campaign kind of thing, if you would like. But parent life. I know, Andrew, you get it. You now have 3. You have joined the 3 clan.
3 changes things.
It does
a lot.
Sorry, it says I got this poison sword in a snake cave. Good. Let's move on instead of me watching 15 plus hours.
3 under 4 years old.
Sweetie.
Fun.
I love you.
Boy,
Please try and sleep.
boys or girls?
Or mix.
Or
I think
mix.
they're mixed.
Are
Aren't
they?
Aren't they mixed, Andrew?
That's better, honestly. The 3 boys, they
have
just
3
like
boys.
is dominance battles all day long. Who's the biggest? Who's the strongest? 1 boy, 2 girls. Okay.
1 boy, 2 girls. Yeah, we have 3 boys. It's pure chaos. So you'll have a different type of chaos.
Darren, the idea would be to publish over like a Pathfinder Infinite or something like that.
Yeah, we want to do it on Pathfinder Infinite and on DM's Guild.
Yep.
So we're going to take them and convert them to both the stories to both Pathfinder 2nd Edition and D&D 5th Edition.
So
That's the idea.
That is the idea. If we can find
lot of
time
work.
to
If we have
write
the time.
and do stuff. And, oh, yeah.
Oh, 3.5, 2.5 in 2 months. Oh, it's already been 2 months? Holy cow. That time is freaking flying.
The
Heck, the little babies. Do you know what's going to be interesting, though, is that with you having them so close together, okay, now we're just talking about parenting things, but having them so close together is kind of nice because they all go through these phases together. So they all go through diapers together, and then they're all kind of out of diapers. And
you get to save
all
on
go through teething together, and then they're all out of teething
Yep.
together. Like our 2 youngest are 18 months apart, almost to the day.
Yeah.
So we get it.
We get that.
We get it. But back to actual plays, I think there is a lot of space to still explore within TTRPGs. And with money coming in, money just changes stuff. It just changes things and it makes it scary. At least from my perspective, it makes it scary.
The first 2. Oh, yeah. It's called
Wait.
Pathfinder Infinite.
Okay, so Pathfinder Infinite is a hi chaotic platypus.
Platypus.
Platypi.
It's like
Gary
Larry
the
the
platypus.
It's like Larry the platypus.
So Rex, Pathfinder Infinite is the DM's Guild's equivalent for Pathfinder.
So,
it's a market for Pathfinder.
I think the one
stuff.
difference is like Paizo officially is like this is stuff
It's
like we
by
promote
Paizo.
this,
Yeah.
but you sign your compatibility agreements and then you can post it on there. I wonder what cut they take because it's kind of interesting then because you think about it. So
We're
Paizo
on
gets
the freaking creators Discord. We should probably know those things.
Paizo gets a cut of all third-party stuff made. Is the way if you think about it that way.
Yeah, they do.
Which is
They're still
brilliant.
making money off of their game.
It's brilliant.
No, it is brilliant. I freaking love it. But hi, mostly lurking as usual. I know it's okay. You're very good at lurking. Every once in a while, something catches your eye and you say hi.
Ooh, squirrels.
Squirrel. But yeah. So
Well,
the money aspect is just what scares me.
Well, and I like that aspect to where you get like Paizo to where they're like, okay,
Hi, John.
it's John.
John.
But seriously, D&D Beyond versus Pathfinder Infinite. So it's Pathfinder Nexus.
Is the competition for D&D Beyond.
Yes, which is actually started by the same
company
designers.
that created D&D Beyond.
Well, it's no longer the same company, but it's the same lead designers
Hi,
and developers
Joel.
and everything like that.
Did everybody just suddenly decide that right now was a good idea to say hi?
I think they did. I think everyone jumped on like last couple of minutes before we
Oh, geez. Hi, Joel.
No, but you got
We were just talking about you, Joel.
Pathfinder Nexus is by the same developers who built D&D Beyond. What's their name again?
Demiplane.
Demiplane. Who didn't you say the creative director of
The
Demiplane?
creative director of Demiplane is B. David Walters.
Okay, so Critical Role might be the big dog in streaming. B. David Walters, I think, is taking over in the background. He's kind of like, the Riddler, some evil villain in the background that owns everything, but nobody knows.
I know, he's got his fingers in so many pies.
He
right
does.
now.
Because he's on this. He's on this for D&D, playing on G4, GMing there, while also being the creative director for the company that's doing Demiplane. Hey, we got a new follower.
Oh,
Thank you very much for following.
Urban Geek Media.
Woo-woo.
Oh, and you chatted for the first time. Hi.
Yeah, Soul says B. David is de
Defo.
facto defo a mastermind rogue.
He really is. I mean, what he's managed, the way he's positioned himself within the market is pretty freaking incredible, honestly. Like, and he streams all the time. He's always on streaming somewhere on some channel.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
but that again brings us back to that same idea of, are creators getting, are like different people being invited? Or is it like, oh, these 10 people DM everything?
Well,
That's big.
If you look at like Dimension 20, Dimension 20 always has the same like 10 to 15 people on their shows. Like always.
It's the same people.
It's always the same people. And those are normally the same people that are doing the official D&D stuff. They're doing special guest spots on like charity streams and things like that. So it has, as it is with every single industry, honestly, once you get to this topper level, this upper level, it becomes very small. That like everyone, it gets smaller and smaller the higher you go. So
I agree. So he says that's why I want to have my guest spot on my stream rotate through a ton. I'm like, it's like get more people. It does a bunch of things. One, more people know about more creators. It gets news out about them, but also they come see yours.
Yeah, they'll come see your stuff. So Rex, Motherlands streams might come up big. What is Motherlands? I do not know this.
I do not know this either.
Is that an actual play?
Rex, there's so much that we don't know.
I feel
please,
like
please
I feel
teach
like
us,
we
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
know very little. It's
You're
okay.
my only hope.
Please, Rex, you're my only hope. No, I think it's good to rotate out guest spots for different things because you want to expose a new element to. Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Apparently, he did an RPG.
Okay, hold on. I've got to go look at it. Afrocentric sci-fi RPG. Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Okay, you talk for a minute, and I'm gonna look at this thing.
It has been many years since I heard the name Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Even like so, I'm looking at this actual play, and I recognize 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 6 players.
Yep.
Yeah.
You always know the same one. Well, and that's where Midlife Dice has jumped on and talked about, about DM time. It's get lots of guests, lots of different people.
I know. I love that about what you've done, Joel. And you've really focused hardcore on making sure that there were lots of opportunities for different people to be on.
Well, it's the same thing as the unions that we're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you compete against the huge streams who can get their name out there on billboards? You all band together. You invite people on your streams. I know we're looking at now that I've got a better setup.
We finally have a setup for us to do guests, which is super exciting.
I can start bringing guest PCs in for an episode or two on our actual play and stuff like that. Bring them in tonight's like tonight. We had our first guest last week because like as you all share around the spotlight, you find that there's enough spotlight.
Yeah, and that's kind of where, somebody asked me on Twitter today, are you just going to talk about actual plays and the whatever, like pro actual plays destroying, or are you going to start offering solutions? And I do want to offer a couple of solutions that Weston and I have talked about, like what you just said of, as creators, we have to support each other.
Yeah.
If you are a creator, you have to support other creators, or like we're never gonna grow. Yeah,
you invite people on, you do guest spots when you can. I do love, one thing I did love about earlier seasons of Critical Role is when they'd have people on as a guest spot for an episode or maybe two, and you can do that, and then all of a sudden someone else gets brought in, then everyone goes and looks at their stream. I know I've enjoyed the Wheel of Time one and doing that.
Yes, that has been so much fun, and there are some, like, Check These Out is a British stream that also does that a lot. They have a really interesting setup. They have a persistent campaign on Mondays, and then on Tuesdays they have a shorter campaign that is 4 episodes, and then they kind of switch. They switch who DMs, they switch all of the players in it. They kind of have this rotating thing with it, which is really cool, and it creates an opportunity for people to see other role players, to expand this game, I guess, that we love so much. Like any TTRPG, the more that we're able to involve people, the better it's going to be.
Well, and that's part of the whole reason why we do the Indie Roundup, why we started that. It's there's a concept in marketing that people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
People don't know about your actual play if they don't know about your actual play.
Yeah.
People don't know about the show you have if they don't know about the show you have. And the only way they start watching the show is they find out about it.
Yeah.
And unless you got two options, lots of marketing dollars, billboards, and we're going to put out ads somewhere.
Digital billboards, like on
Google. You have word of mouth and collaboration. And that's where I think this is a great space for that.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I'm a big believer in capitalism in its pure form, where there's lots of creators, lots of low barrier to entry, and we can really promote that type of thing in this space to where it's like, hey, you got a new stream? Come on my show. I'll introduce. I'll
help promote it.
Yep, I'll promote your stuff. I'll promote you on Self Promo Saturday. I'll help get you out there. You've definitely had that a lot. As we've come into this space.
And I've gotten pretty lucky with some of the connections and the relationships I've made in my time in the TTRPG sphere, especially on TTRPG's Twitter. Like, I love that space so much. It's so wonderful. But that's one of the reasons as well that we started doing TTRPG news and the Indie Roundup, was that I want to give back to this community that has been so wonderful to us. And I also want to help grow other creators that are doing things within the community, big, small, medium, whatever, because the only way that we're actually all going to grow is if we help each other.
Yep.
There's no way for us to grow by ourselves.
Is that true idea of when everyone lifts together, you lift a lot more.
Yeah, rising tides will raise all ships.
Will
raise all ships.
Well, I love what Souls mentioned. It was Henry Ford said that if I had asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. They didn't even know that they wanted a car because they'd never seen one.
Yep.
And so we can spread the love. We can, there are different things you can do to help newer streamers. I started doing this to where if I see a stream that's on that has very few viewers, I'll just jump on. Even if I can't listen at that time, I'll jump on to help boost their numbers and help get them out there.
Yeah.
Because
especially if there are people that are really close to like affiliate on Twitch, which is such a huge deal, that it doesn't hurt to go follow them and to like just pop into their stream every once in a while and say hey and watch what they're doing. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to build a real strong community base, a foundation of a TTRPG actual play community that will be able to withstand if and when Critical Role implodes or the top tier all of a sudden isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
If we have a really strong foundation of creators down here on the bottom, then it'll be fine and we'll be fine. And we have, from everything that I've seen, we have a very healthy community of TTRPGers, like across the board, with tons of different systems and tons of people creating content and tons of people like creating like subclasses and one shots and campaigns and settings and whatnot, just across the board. And it's so exciting to see all of that happening, because that means that this is a really healthy market.
Yes, it does.
And it's going to be really good for everybody.
And that's what it just comes down to. The adage in commodities market, in purchasing items, is you buy local.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I want to go watch an actual play. Go watch Community. Don't go find, okay, who's the biggest stream at the moment. Doesn't mean you can't watch those, but also look Community.
I like finding kind of that middle ground of people who, are still new in their journey, but you can tell they're kind of moving forward. They're upgrading things. They're changing stuff up as they're moving forward through their journey in their content creation. I love finding those people, and watching their stuff. And what is going on?
Here's a
controversial are here because of small streamers. Community. Yes, I have heard Community is a good show. I have never watched it. I actually would agree with you in a lot of ways. Black Dragon Tavern. Hello, by the way. Thank you for the first time chat. I think that it is because of small streamers that Critical Role is here, because the idea had already been planted. And Matt Mercer already knew Satine Phoenix, had already done things with Satine Phoenix. The webbing was already kind of out there for Critical Role to build. So you put Critical Role in a position where they started with Geek and Sundry, which already gave them a platform. Their first show, they had over 1,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Their very first show.
They got to start off at the top of the tier.
So they got to start in a place that none of us get the opportunity to start with, which is not bad. Like, it's awesome for them. But you're right. If it wasn't for the foundation that had already been built by the actual play streamers out there, Critical Role would not exist.
No, you had the community streamers that started. Then you had Geek and Sundry that started kind of creating that next level.
Well, and Felicia Day, who's a creator of Geek and Sundry, we're going to have a whole Geek and Sundry discussion one day.
We don't have to.
No, we have to, because I like talking about Geek and Sundry because it was so brilliant. But her thing, and her tapping Will Whedon and stuff like that, it was to bring tabletop gaming back into America's view.
Yes.
It wasn't just about like D&D or tabletop role-playing games. It was about tabletop gaming, period. And so a lot of their content was tabletop gaming, and while they were still trying to flesh it out, that was when Felicia Day had the idea of like, let's do a D&D stream. She
Ashley
was friends
told
with
her to come
Ashley
check
Johnson,
out
and like the rest is kind of history at that point.
Well, and you also had because tabletop was not part of Geek and Sundry, was it? With Will Whedon, Tabletop the show.
Yeah,
was that part of the same thing?
That was Geek and Sundry. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it all grows, and that's the way a market happens. You know, you have different things. So what will be the next chapter? Is it G4 and cable TV, or and D&D the movie with a whole ton of
Chris Pine and Benedict Cumberbatch and Michelle Rodriguez,
which apparently Michelle Rodriguez plays a female barbarian.
Oh, why? That's not any different than anything she has played up to this point.
I know.
So typecasting. Okay. No. Oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock. We have to be done for tonight because we have lives. John, you were totally right. Critical Role would not exist as a multi-million-dollar brand right now if it wasn't for Geek and Sundry. Because let's be totally honest, they never would have put their show out there without Geek and Sundry. That never would have happened.
So no one's gonna be CR.
That no one is ever going to touch Critical Role, ever. They were lightning in a bottle. They are the juggernaut. They are the outlier that must be ignored when looking at the actual play market.
And I imagine when Critical Role goes away, because it's built on those individuals who are going to get older, unless they can find a way to build it on some other thing.
They're going to go network. I think they're going to create.
I don't think the network will work. I don't think it'll work. Nope. When that happens, something different will come up. Or maybe all of a sudden then it'll trickle down and you'll have 50 billion streams suddenly jump. Who knows? I don't think it'll ever get as big as that again.
No, I don't think there's going to be a single actual play that will ever be as big as Critical Role, nor even come as close to Critical Role as, there's no way. It's just not possible. So they'll transition to Dentures and Dungeons.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. I want to see Liam O'Brien be broody as with no teeth.
You freaking, get off my lawn.
Oh my gosh.
Come follow our intrepid band of adventurers as they try and keep the neighborhood kids off of their lawn.
I'm starting a stream called Critical Role. What? Wait, what? Joel, what are you talking about? ROLL, as in
he's gonna bake.
You're gonna bake? Are you gonna make rolls? Are you baking now, Joel?
He's going to do them with Soul. They're going to make rolls.
Soul and Joel are gonna make rolls. Oh, what's up?
Drag Dragon
Okay.
Tavern did ask what our stream schedule is.
So for this week, you are in luck because we are streaming 3 times this week with our actual play. So tomorrow night is our normal actual play, which is our story. We just started season 3. It is a persistent campaign, but it's really fun. Just jump in. You'll get what's going on.
It's a one-on-one campaign, so it is one player and a GM.
Yeah. And then we are doing the finale of Wheel of Time on Thursday over at Play Nerd Allies channel. It's Play Nerd Allies. And it is the finale of the Wheel of Time setting that we have been playing in the last 5-6 weeks. We're probably all going to die. We're getting attacked by an army of Trollocs, and we've been sieged, and we've been trying to whatever. It's really, really fun. It's going to be great. I play a Aes Sedai, and Weston is my warder.
Yes.
We are going to go out and blaze glory.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be very
The
exciting.
blaze
And
of
then
glory.
we are changing our schedule, which means on Friday night will be episode
6.
6. So episode 5 of season 3 for the Scions is tomorrow, and then Friday will be episode 6 at 8:30 p.m.
We're
and
live again.
Then on, it will be live on Friday nights. We tried an experiment doing it earlier in the day, pre-recorded. Didn't work. So we're moving to Friday. So this week you've got the Scions on Tuesday, you've got Wheel of Time on Thursday, and the Scions again on Friday. You lucky freaking ducks.
No, John, he's like, you can run away in a blaze of cowardice, except for they've got us in a siege in the
I know
middle
we're
of
in a siege. We're kind of and Kyle's not going to let us do that.
He's not going to let us
He's
do
not
that.
gonna let us
But
do
it's
that.
going to be glorious.
It will be, as he loves to say.
We
it'll
will
be
die with
glorious.
glorious purpose.
I'm burdened with a glorious purpose.
Exactly.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you so
y'all.
much, you guys, for watching and hanging out with us tonight.
Midlife Dice did say, what about Thursday night? I don't think we don't do anything currently on Thursday nights.
Thursday night.
Oh, no, you do have
Is
something Thursday.
Joel. That's what we were talking about, Joel. We were talking about you. I am streaming with Midlife Dices at 7 p.m. on their channel, which is super awesome. We are doing a Hercules actual play, which is super fun. It's D&D 5e. I get to play a complete badass, like blonde ditz who's learning her own power, and that she can stand up for her own damn self and doesn't need Hercules to do anything
Hair flip.
for her.
Hair flip. Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be so exciting.
That's not quite a naive hair flip, but it's good.
I know. I can't do the 90s. I don't have
I know those braids are insane.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Anyway, so that is this week. You are right. I'm sorry, Joel. I'm sorry. This week is really, really busy. Anyway, we love you guys.
Wait.
Like, share. Oh, thank you for following us, Black Dragon Tavern, that I didn't even notice that you followed us. I apologize. Wait, I'm being told to wait.
Yeah, you are being told to
Why
wait.
am I being told to wait?
Because one thing, oh geez, I just realized we're going to be doing our next episode of the actual play while Wheel of Time is premiering. Well, I guess I'll watch it the next day.
I guess we'll watch it the next day. It's okay. But yeah, so we love you guys.
We love you.
See you guys tomorrow here at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And
Just remember,
it only takes 2. Or my tagline, which is, we're already up, so we'll take first watch. Good night, you guys. Oh, Soul, thank you for the subscription.
I'll thank you so much for the subscription.
Good
First
night,
time shout-out we get
Commission,
to as
Commissioner Bottle Cap. Good night. Good night. Oh my gosh, why is it that suddenly everybody decides to jump on right now? Ha!
I just want to say hi to us all.
Hello, goodbye. We love you. We are really going to hang up now. Okay, bye.